you can't really put an age on it. You can put legal ages on things.
For 56 of her 57 years, Brooke Shields has been in show.
Welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered, behind the glamour of Hollywood, how many young souls have been caught up in the whirlwind of fame, only to lose themselves? Today, I invite you to listen to the story of a beauty and talent icon, but also a typical victim of exploitation, oppression, and lifelong trauma. That is Brooke Shields. Born into a troubled family on May 31st, 1965 in Manhattan, New York, Brooke's life seemed to have been decided since she was in her mother's womb. Her father, Francis Shields, was a wealthy but irresponsible man. Her mother, Terry Shields, dreamed of changing her life at all costs. Even when she was pregnant, Terry refused a large sum of money that Francis offered for an abortion. The decision to keep Brooke was not based on pure maternal love, but on calculation. This daughter would be Terry's ticket to fame. When she was only 5 months old, her parents separated. From then on, Brooke was no longer a mere child. She became her mother's only investment project. From a young age, Terry dreamed of turning her daughter into a star. Brooke studied piano, ballet, horseback riding, and acting on a strict schedule. Her childhood had no place for games, friends, or childish joys. There were only cameras, lines, and the scrutinizing eyes of adults. At the age of 11, Brooke had her first role in the horror film Alice, Sweet Alice. But the real shock came from the scandalous collaborations arranged by her mother. When she was only 10 years old, Brooke was forced to pose for sexy photos for photographer Gary Gross. Although she later tried to regain control, the court ruled in Gross' favor. Brooke was considered a model, not a child actress. It didn't stop there. In 1978, Brooke starred in the movie Pretty Baby at the age of 11. The movie revolved around the life of a girl living in a brothel in New Orleans, with scenes that were considered too bold, even offensive for a young actress. The movie was banned in many countries. But for Terry Shields, that didn't matter. It was a step forward in the journey to change her life that she bet on her daughter's childhood. Brooke continued to be pushed into roles with sexy elements in movies like The Blue Lagoon and Endless Love. By the time she was 14, she had become a national beauty icon. Time magazine once estimated that she earned about $10,000 a day from modeling. A huge sum of money for a preteen girl. But that fame was met with stares, judgment, and an unspeakable loneliness. When Brooke decided to leave the spotlight to attend Princeton University, she thought she would find peace. But it wasn't. Even at university, she was hounded by paparazzi. One reporter even paid a classmate to secretly take pictures of her in the bathroom. Perhaps nothing could make a young woman feel more violated than that. On top of that, Brooke was haunted by a fanatic fan named John Rowley. At first, Rowley seemed like a good friend. But then the strange gifts, constant appearances at Brooke's house, and even writing her name on her car windshield terrified her and her mother. Brooke was forced to call the police, and Rowley was sentenced to 60 days in jail for harassment. However, the biggest shock of her life did not come from the public, but from a famous director in the industry. After leaving Princeton and returning to art, Brooke was sexually abused by a director under the guise of a professional meeting. Despite the pain and trauma, she did not name the director for fear that no one would believe her. In the years that followed, she lived in silence, blaming herself and struggling with her memories. "I left my body to survive," she recounted. A chilling confession, but one that truly reflects the tragedy that many women in the entertainment industry have experienced. There was a glimmer of light in Brooke's life: Dean Cain. The two met at Princeton and dated for a while. Dean was the first person to help her realize that she was worthy of unconditional love. Although the relationship did not last, Dean left a positive impact in helping Brooke gradually escape her mother's control. In 1997, Brooke married tennis legend Andre Agassi. But the marriage quickly fell apart. Agassi was addicted to methamphetamine and often had uncontrollable behavior. Once, after witnessing Brooke filming a kissing scene in the movie Friends, he angrily smashed all of his championship trophies. Agassi's instability left Brooke physically and mentally exhausted. The two divorced after 2 years. However, Brooke admitted that it was Agassi who helped her for the first time dare to face and escape her mother's long-term control. "I wasn't strong enough to leave my mother until Agassi made me realize that," she said. After the breakup, life gave Brooke a new chance. She met Chris Henchy, who would later become her husband, in a very unexpected way. He was the one who found her lost dog. They married in 2001 and built a new family, thinking that all the storms were behind. But the tragedy did not stop there. Brooke had to face the pain of losing her child when the fetus could not survive. That loss pushed her into a severe depression. When she gave birth to her first child in 2003, instead of joy, she felt empty and emotionally numb. Brooke once thought about ending her life. But with extraordinary determination, she overcame it. In her memoir, Down Came the Rain, Brooke shared in detail her journey to overcome postpartum depression, an issue that was once overlooked by society, especially for famous women. The book became an important milestone, contributing to raising public awareness of mental health and understanding for new mothers. Despite the controversy, Brooke's career continued to rise. At the age of 11, she landed the lead role in Pretty Baby, a film that told the story of a young girl living in a brothel in New Orleans. The film's explicit content, including nudity, sparked a massive backlash. Many critics decried it as child exploitation, and it was banned in several countries. But for Terry, the goal was clear. She stood by her daughter, proud of the fame and fortune Brooke helped her achieve. As the years went on, Brooke's contracts continued to demand that she perform in sexualized roles, with her mother fully supporting these arrangements. By the age of 16, Brooke was one of the most recognizable faces in the U.S., a product of the public's fascination with her image and the controversies surrounding her. At the height of her fame, Time magazine reported that she was earning around $10,000 a day as a model. She became known for her roles in films such as The Blue Lagoon, The Muppet Show, Endless Love, and Sahara. Though Sahara was a commercial and critical failure, Brooke reportedly earned $1 million for her role. Her fame was matched only by the public scrutiny that came with it, and at one point, she even won a Razzie Award for Worst Supporting Actress, a reflection of the mixed reception to her acting. Despite the pressures of Hollywood, Brooke made a significant decision to step away from the spotlight and pursue a more conventional life. She enrolled at Princeton University, hoping to escape the constant glare of fame. But even in academia, the shadow of her early career followed her. The paparazzi were relentless, capturing every moment of her life. At one point, she discovered that a photographer had paid a fellow student to secretly take photos of her while she was showering. An invasion of privacy that highlighted the cost of fame she had been dealing with since childhood. Brooke Shields' story serves as a poignant reminder of the heavy price that comes with fame, especially when it begins at such a young age. Her life, full of public triumphs and private battles, is a testament to the strength of a woman who was thrust into the spotlight but struggled to find peace. Despite everything, Brooke has managed to redefine herself and continue living life on her own terms, showing the world that even after facing unimaginable challenges, one can rise above and move forward. One of the most profound wounds Brooke Shields endured was not inflicted by the press or the public, but by someone who initially seemed harmless, a fan named John Rowley. At first, both Brooke and her mother dismissed him as just a friendly admirer. However, as time went on, they began to notice increasingly suspicious behavior. Rowley began sending strange gifts and would show up at odd hours, making Brooke and her mother feel increasingly uneasy. The situation escalated when Rowley parked in front of Brooke's house for hours on end, even going so far as to write her name on his windshield. These unsettling actions not only violated her privacy but also shattered her sense of security. Eventually, the situation became too much to bear, and Brooke was forced to call the police and take legal action against him. In court, Rowdy confessed that he had once been infatuated with Brooke but insisted that the obsession was in the past. Nevertheless, he was convicted of harassment and sentenced to 60 days in jail. But this was just the beginning of the shocks that Brooke would endure. A more haunting event, one that would shake the entertainment industry, was soon to follow. After leaving Princeton University and returning to the world of acting, Brooke encountered a director who took advantage of her vulnerability. One evening, he invited her to a restaurant, but instead of the expected professional meeting, he forced her to accompany him to his hotel room. The moment that Brooke had feared the most happened. "I thought I was going to get a role," she recalls. "It took me a long time to accept and process what happened. I'm a lot angrier now than I was then." For a long time, Brooke stayed silent, convinced that no one would believe her. In an era when such stories were too often dismissed as publicity stunts, she chose not to reveal the director's identity, even though he was a powerful figure in the industry. The experience left more than just emotional scars, it devastated her soul. Brooke shared that, at that moment, survival meant burying the trauma deep within herself. But despite this, she refused to let it define her. Instead, she channeled her pain into resilience, determined to rise above the darkness that had tried to swallow her. Brooke Shields' life was marked by painful moments that she carried silently, often struggling alone with her trauma. One of the most significant admissions in her life came when she publicly revealed that actor Dean Cain, best known for portraying Superman, was the one who took her virginity. These words shocked not only the public but also served as a testament to the deep pain she had endured in silence for many years. Brooke met Dean Cain while they were both attending Princeton University. Their relationship, which lasted a while despite Brooke's mother's disapproval, ended after graduation, though they kept in touch over the years. Though her marriage to Agassi ended in painful memories, Brooke credits him with helping her break free from her mother's control. "I wasn't strong enough to separate myself from my mother," she said. "I kept going back. It was Agassi who helped me realize it was time to stand up for myself and break that vicious cycle." This was a turning point for Brooke, one that helped her become stronger and more decisive in her future decisions. After her divorce, another man entered Brooke's life, Chris Henchy. Their love story began unexpectedly when Brooke's dog went missing while she was filming Suddenly Susan. It was Chris who found her dog and returned it to her. This chance encounter led to a romantic relationship, and they married in 2001. But despite finding love again, Brooke's life would continue to be tested by unimaginable challenges, especially in her journey to motherhood. One of the greatest tragedies of her life came when she was unable to conceive. After months of waiting and hoping, Brooke received devastating news from her doctor: her unborn child would not survive. This shock plunged her into a deep depression, one of the darkest periods of her life. Despite following all of the doctor's instructions, the pain and disappointment weighed heavily on her, breaking her heart. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like to follow the next videos. Thank you and see you in the next video.